welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since I posted. It's been really challenging to film videos during the daytime when the light is good and the kids are up. So and I've been really struggling to make videos that are short, So anyway, it's a work in progress. So today I want to start my series on a sibling relationship. That's something I've been promising since before Christmas, and I want to start by saying my goal is not to tell you exactly how to micromanage relationship between the siblings that live under your roof. It's really to give you some food for thought and some sort of broad lines to consider. And the first thing I wanted to approach today is the idea of our siblings, our children who are the siblings, having a relationship that needs to be grown and nurtured just like any relationship. We often say that blood runs thicker than water, and it's true that family ties run deep. And by this, I think what it means is that we'll let family hurt us a lot more before we cut ties than we would let like a colleague or a friend or an acquaintance hurt us, right? But it doesn't mean that the relationship between siblings doesn't need to be grown and nurtured. And so any relationship needs time, and it needs quantity and it needs quality time to develop. And I think that's true for our children as well. And I'd like to share with you today a little bit of my experience, and just to illustrate the point. My children used to be in school. All of my children used to be in school, and they fought a lot. They were like normal, not violently, but they did fight a lot. And what I found was that whenever I got the report cards from school here in Ontario, you get a report card that has like your grades, and it also has like a sort of a soft skill component about how good you are with punctuality and working with others and getting along with others and things like that. And what I found was that my children got along really well with everyone, but once they were at home, they could not get along well with each other. And it drove me nuts, because I was thinking, what's the point of getting along well with everyone when you can't get along with your own siblings, right? Because these are the relationships that will follow you for a lifetime, not the kids in your class, honestly, And who's going to be here for you whenever you struggle with mental health issues? Who's going to be here for you? Let's say that, if you have a financial problem, if you have health problems, hopefully it's your family, right? It's not the kid who was in your grade 3 class. So for me, it meant a lot that my kids could not get along together, So what if they get along with everybody else? So I knew that we had something to work on. So we started homeschooling, and when we started homeschooling, the first thing I noticed, I remember texts from back when, I was texting my husband when we started homeschooling saying, I can't homeschool, they're fighting too much. Like, the fighting was unbelievable, especially between our son, who was 3 years older than his younger sister. So when we started homeschooling, they were like 8 and 5. Now they are 7 and almost 10. And the fighting was epic. It was unbelievable. And as the year went by, the fighting subsided. It got less intense and less intense. And as they stopped fighting, they started getting along better and playing together. And I realized that when they were in school, they were always separated. And they were not only always separated because, in school, your children are separated by age, but in their extracurricular activities, they're not only separated by age, they're often separated by gender. And so your children, if they go to school all day and then on evenings and weekends they have extracurriculars, they don't spend a lot of time together, engaging positively together. They're often together in the morning when they don't want to wake up, on the way to take the school bus when they're not happy, in the afternoon when they get off from the school bus, when they're coming home and they're hungry and tired. And on the way here, we're rushed, right? Like we're out of the house, into the car. And I don't know if the car is the place where you see the best of your children, but me, that's where I see the worst of my children is in the car. Like they're awful. And maybe you have a special kind of car with a special kind of family where everyone gets its own bench. But in my family, they're packed like sardines. Even in our 11-passenger van, where they're packed like sardines. And, you know, it's just... So, you know, they were often together, but never in circumstances that were conducive to getting along, right? To enjoying each other's company. And so I saw, as they started spending a lot of time together, they started getting along better and appreciating each other. And then we're in February right now. I'm posting this in February. Last September, I had a miscarriage, and it was severe, and it just brought me to my knees, physically and emotionally, in all possible ways. And so we had to kind of back away from any commitments. Like I just couldn't drive. I couldn't do any. I could barely stand up and make meals. Like if I had one iota of energy, I had to spend it feeding my family, basically, and keeping up. So we just let go of all extracurriculars, which, you know, may not be something I would recommend forever, especially if you have very social children that are homeschooled, as I do. But, you know, for this season of our life, it was the right thing to do. And they went from getting along well to getting along really well. Now they are tight, those two. It's amazing to see. And I realized, like, they've had the time, they've had the opportunity to be together. So now you're probably saying to yourself, like, I'm not homeschooling. Like, how does that help me? Well, the way it helps you is that even if you're not homeschooling, you know, if you're just a normal family who's not completely crazy and you send your kids to school, how does this help you? Well, maybe you need to be more deliberate about looking, especially if your children are not getting along as well as you'd like them to get along. Maybe have a look, you know, a good mindful look at the time when your children are together. Like, is this time conducive to building a relationship? Like, if you were with another adult or another person in the same circumstances as your children, would you get along with this person? Would this bring out the best in you? Would this bring out the best in the other person? Because often our children are together all the time, but the quality of the time is not good. So maybe it means you need to back off. Do you need to do as much as you're doing, right? How can you foster these special times where your children are learning to get along together? In my next video, I'd like to say, well, maybe you're looking at this and saying, well, my kids just hate each other. Like, they don't get along. They have opposing personalities. They really clash. So I'll be getting into that in the next video. So, and we'll be looking at personality and temperaments and how to help them work better together. So thank you very much, and I'll